Thank you. All right, please sit. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen all, including our principal and the community leaders from Fox Hill who are here, and you, boys and girls, my parliamentary colleagues, the officials of the Ministry of Education, and my friend Henry Dean, who's sitting there patiently. I think he's getting something later today, that's why he's still here. But I'm glad to be here. I'm really pleased to be here. And I was saying to Minister Raming that I was at a conference in Doha, which is the capital city of a country called Qatar, and there was a panel, and the panel had 4 men and 1 woman, and all of them were PhDs. And the moderator introduced everybody and called all the men Dr. So-and-so, but called the woman Rose by her first name. So before she spoke, she said the same thing that the minister said. She said, well, I would like, if you're going to call everybody doctor, I'd like doctor to be used when you're referring to me. Now that's something, women and men, it's called unconscious bias. It's something you don't think about because that's the way we've been socialized, to think about people as kind of second-class citizens. So a lot of what we do in education today is to try and recover from unconscious bias. Like another unconscious bias is if you've got dark skin, there's got to be something wrong with you. You have to fight against that. Many of us, all of our lives, will be fighting against that. You see that everywhere. So just think about that. You are now in the house that George Mackey built. And George Mackey was my predecessor. If you go outside the door there, those are very expensive doors, by the way. But if you go out there, there's a lineup of photographs of all of the members of parliament for the Fox Hill district, beginning with L.W. Young, who's the first of the photographs. And George Mackey is there, but including myself. And we put that there because we want you to have a sense of who you are, and you have a sense of who you are by those who went before you. Because this building didn't just spring up out of air. It's millions of dollars were put into this building, and a lot of planning and sacrifice to get this building to where it is. So my predecessor, George Mackey, announced back in 1989 that he wanted to build a Fox Hill Community Center. It wasn't until 2017 that the building was actually completed. So lesson number 1 there, things take a while, things take a lot of time, and one generation hands off to the next. So this conversation that I'm having with you this morning is really designed for you when you're 70 years old. And I expect all of you to make it to 70. That's why we're here, to tell you that you can do that. Right up the street, there's a lady named Nurse Curtis, who's 100 years old. She used to be a nurse, she's retired. She's now still up on her 2 feet and clothed in her right mind, gets up every day, 100 years old. Teacher Roca, who used to teach many of the people from Fox Hill in the Soundlands Primary School, she is about to become 100 because she's 99 as well. So there was a lady here who died, Ma Gwen. She lived to be 106. So it's possible for you to live a long life. And the story that I repeat is, when I was born in 1953, the life expectancy at birth for a male child in the Bahamas was 50 years of age. So I'm now 69, so that means that I've lived 19 years beyond that time. Amen. And why is that? Part of it is good food, good set of parents, medicine, healthcare. When I was growing up, polio was a disease which struck children. Every summer you lived in peril, and then they got a vaccine, and that caused polio to disappear. We used to have to, when I went to St. George's Kindergarten School in Centerville, I used to have a cup of milk every day because calcium deficiency was an issue for children growing up in the Bahamas. All of that has disappeared. You now have better health care, you have better teachers, you have better schools. There's been huge investment trying to make sure that you survive to be 70 years of age. So what they say now by the statistics is a male child born in the Bahamas today should live to be 74, and a female should live to be 76. So that means you've got 50 years to go, at least. And you can do that by all of those things that we said, but also by managing your own life. You know, it makes a difference. You don't have to go 75 miles an hour along JFK Drive with a cell phone in your hand and your seatbelt off. If you lose control of the car, at 23, your life's gone. So you can make a decision to save your life. Wearing a seatbelt, don't speed, don't text, you know, put the phone down. That's a decision you can make. And then put the guns down. You know, you could disagree with someone without having to take a gun and shoot them, or for them to shoot you. Just put the guns down. Not necessary. You can go to a party and have a good time without having to fight about things. There's nothing to fight about. You know, I see these fights taking place at Arawak Key, and I say to myself, well, all of us are poor and broke. What are we fighting about? You know, but I've seen, you know, I was telling the minister, he was trying to determine for me the drawing line between St. James Road and the 5-pound lot. Because I made the mistake. I went to St. James Church and I posted a photograph and I said that St. James Church was in the 5-pound lot. And within 5 seconds, somebody sent me a note back saying, that's not the 5-pound lot. But I was in the 5-pound lot one day with my friend Charles Roll, who's from Kemp Road. Most extraordinary thing I'd seen. We were at a bar, and the bar still exists, and some men were playing pool. And the pool game was 25 cents. The winner gets, it's a gambling game, 25 cents for the pool. And the fella defaulted on paying the 25 cents. And the man who was owed the 25 cents would not give up. He said, I want my blank, blank 25 cents. Someone even offered to pay the 25 cents so they could stop. He said, no, I don't want that. I want the 25 cents from him, right? And ultimately, he took a Heineken beer bottle, broke the bottle, and put it to the fella's throat and said, give me my 25 cents. That's how it ended. But someone's life could have been snuffed out over 25 cents. And it makes no sense whatsoever. So these are, again, individual decisions you can make. Now, you got a lot of advice here today. And I remember reading in George Mackey's book. Remember I said he's my predecessor. And he told a story about two men. One is L.W. Young, the other was A.F. Adley. L.W. Young, of course, is the man he used to own all the property around here. And when he died, he had the largest funeral in the history of Fox Hill. So when George Mackey died, I said I'd try and have a bigger funeral than L.W. Young for George. I don't think we quite made it, but. So that was L.W. Young, very practical man. And A.F. Adley was an attorney, a lawyer. He's the father of Paul Adley, who was our first Attorney General in independent Bahamas. Got a triple first at Cambridge University in the early 1900s, prosecuted the Harry Oakes murder, and the school A.F. Adley is named after him. As a matter of fact, he died in 1953, coming back from the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. Died on the plane from leukemia. Anyway, these two men went to speak to an assembly like this at the government high school. And A.F. Adley was first up, and he told them, you're getting this education, you must embrace grand ideas, you must go on to do great things, you will be successful and serve humanity. And then L.W. Young came up afterwards and he said, I heard what Mr. Adley said, that's all fine and good, but you all should go out, learn your lessons, get a job, and earn some money. So there you have it. Two sides of the same coin. So you don't have to choose, of course. You can do both. You can do what A.F. Hadley says, and you can do what L.W. Young said. You can do both, or you can choose. It's all up to you. And I recommend, whatever it is, that you do something, because it's better to do something than to do nothing. So, I think that's all I gotta say. And I want to thank you. I can't understand my writing here. But please go outside and have a look at those who are on the wall. I hope one day one of you will be on the wall, or several of you will be on the wall. And take a particular look, because we took a picture of the kids at Sandlands Primary School back in 2017. They were 10 and 11, so now they are, how old is that? They're almost voters now, right? Yeah, so they'd be in Doris Johnson. But we took the photographs so that they would be able to come one day and look back and see what they looked like when they were 10 and 11. And that's one of the things the late Antoine Wallace, who did that fancy picture of me, don't mind, I don't look that good. That was all a lot of makeup. But he said to me, in your youth, take a good photograph of yourself, because soon your youth is gone and it disappears. And you'd always want to know what you used to look like. Oh yeah, I see what my writing was. I was saying also, I won't be here in 20 years or whatever it is, but I was saying, I was watching the young men as they watched the girls dancing, and they were looking very intently. And I said, I wonder if some of them in 10, 20 years will be saying, the day I saw her on the dance floor in the Fox Hill Community Center, I couldn't take my eyes off her, and I knew she was mine. Yeah. Yeah. It happens like that, right? So just invite me to the wedding if it comes through. Thank you very much. Bless you.
Thank you.